Hello folks, it's Colonel Failure here with Project Aura. Now, last time out I went through the tutorial. This time we're actually going to start to play a game. Now, here's the thing. I've played through... I've played like 3 hours of the game already. Firstly, it's very slow. So forgive me if I end up skipping bits of it. But secondly, it means that I've got some understanding of what I actually want to be doing. So we've got our game creation going up here. So we're just going to set ourselves up with a handsome-looking uniform, and me being me, we'll be going with a black and red motif. Let's have a look. Let's make that bit black. Let's make this bit white, and make this bit a good solid kind of blood. It's more pink, really, isn't it? There we go. Yeah, smashing. Good. He looks a little bit like a motorcyclist, but what can you do? Badge, we'll just take the default there, and we'll make it black. Thank you. Next, right, we're going to stick with medium difficulty. There's no need to do any of that. So let's crack on. Yeah, let's boogie. Okay, so I don't know how many episodes of this I'll play through right now. Chances are I'll do a little bit more further down the line when the game's advanced a little bit. But for the moment, there we go, that's the speedo, right, good, right, so I've got it paused. But for the moment, I'm going to, we'll play, and as long as things seem to be trickling along at a happy rate, we'll continue doing so. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build up some stuff, right, so we're going to want where are we? We want a habitat. There we go, a residential block. Now, one thing I've observed relatively quickly is be really careful about your placement of facilities. You want to be able to squeeze as much stuff on each of these platforms as possible. So don't, do like that and bang it straight in the middle. It might seem intuitive, but just don't, because you're going to want the space later on. Space comes at a premium. Now, as you saw, it didn't have the materials there, but this handy little icon at the bottom, which you can probably bear... We'll just drag it up here. Here we go. This little icon here allows me to buy all the materials straight away. Now, again, that might seem counterintuitive, but it isn't. Trust me. You're going to be buying a lot of stuff early on in order to keep yourself in business. So there we go. So we've got our first habitat up, and the main thing that's going to do is it's going to help provide us fertilizer. Yes, indeed, we're going to get a poop operative in there to sort us out fertilizer production. Next thing we're going to need is what are we going to need? Yeah, we're going to need a desalination plant, ideally. As you can tell, I am not yet completely familiar with all the items in the game. There we go. We're going to buy the materials for that. See if we can stick this in next door. Would you rotate? Would you be so kind? No. I want to rotate the thing I'm placing here. No. Ah, there we go. Okay, cursors are the rotation button. So I'm going to stick this right next to the habitat there, and now we'll get those online because we want those guys to start producing for us. So we're going to need, if we call up our residential block, we need a director and we need an organic waste. I mean, basically we need a director hooked up to this one and an organic waste blueprint. So we're going to go shopping for that. Go right. So let's go hit the tech thing. So you hit tech to detect the different kind of resources that you can pick up, and then we will find, where are we? Organic. Recover organic waste. Right, so we'll buy one of those, drag it straight over onto here. Yes, please. And we'll hook it up onto there. Now, the type of stuff that wants is it wants a recycling chap. Not a problem. But before we do that, we'll finish buying the other stuff that we need. So this is our desalination plant, and we need a blueprint for water desalination, and we need one for building maintenance. Building maintenance, not something you need to worry about too much to begin with. but later on you most certainly will. Now, there's possibly some smart behaviour to be had there in terms of having maybe one building maintenance program and switching it between the different buildings that are actually going to need it. That's a pretty smooth thing to do. But actually, I'd be tempted to go straight in and get one for each. They're only 250 credits a throw, and on this kind of basic level, you do have a fair chunk of change to start with. In fact, I can't remember where that's. No, here it is. Look, yeah, I got 50 grand. Well, 46 grand. So that's all good. Right, next thing to do is to wake up the people to actually work on the thing. Now, we're going to need at least 2 directors. There are no directors available. However, we do want this recycler chap here on this one. So we'll just drag him straight in. Yep, wake him up. Get to work. Now, he's only level 1 right now, but he will improve as he gains experience. That's all important. Experience is very useful because it allows people to produce more while they're on duty. Next, we want operators for the desalination plant, and we'll take a couple of those. Yeah. Now, there are different levels of staff available. And that one, there we go. Good. Right, so we've got 2 junior operators on there. I'll tidy this up in a sec. We also want a technician for the building maintenance, but as mentioned, we don't need that straight away. So let's see if what you can do here is you can then replace people you don't need. So actually, I'm going to replace this researcher with a director. Yes, please. Now that costs money to do, so you want to use that function sparingly if possible, but I need 2 directors to get us moving. I'd also be tempted, I'd be tempted to hire this extra recycler chap, because I noticed that they were somewhat thin on the ground later on. In fact, you will wake him up. He can just go and hang out. Yeah, I mean, people who are hanging out, basically, you've got to feed them, but there we go. But it's better than having them upset by making them just work a job that they're not suited to. Right, so we've basically woken up everybody that's possible to wake up. The residential block is effectively good to go, so we now need to give this some orders. And what we're going to do is we're going to switch on. Basically, it's going to restart production as soon as it finishes 1, and anytime it's stopped, it's going to try and start itself. Easy as pie. And every cycle that it completes, it's going to provide us with 6 fertilizer. That's okay. It's not anywhere near as much as we actually need, and I will have it tell me when it completes. So it'll pop up a little message in the bottom corner to say that it's starting a new cycle, and then we'll say off you trot. Now obviously I've got it paused at the moment, so it's not going to trot anywhere. Equally, we'll do the same with the desalination plant. There we go. Now building maintenance is currently unable to operate because we haven't got any staff on there. Actually, let's set this out the way that I worked out earlier on. There we go. Just to keep it nice and neat, we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to make it so that it auto restarts. This, every time it completes a cycle, is going to generate 75 water, handsome, and some salt. Haven't got it round to using salt just yet. You can notify as well. Right, good. That's that all set up. So the other thing that I'm going to do before I unpause the game and let it start running is I'm going to buy some food, because we don't have any, and that's going to upset people. So we're going to buy exciting noises. Typical. Let's get to 75. There you go. Round numbers for the win. And edible seaweed portions as well. Purchase those. Thank you. And then to make sure that people can actually eat them, we're going to drag them out of our inventory, stick them in the larder. Supplies for 6 colonists. Marvellous. for we don't know how many days yet. Right, but we'll know as soon as I unpause the game. Let's unpause the game. Off we trot. So I've set this to standard speed for the moment. That's a seaweed portion. That's edible. Right, come on. I've got food for multiple days. Oh yeah, I need to turn it on. So we've got 16 days worth of food, and that might be okay. We might be all right with 16 days. We might be able to produce our own by that time. So with this turned on, what we'll see is this arrow basically gradually approaches the residential block to say that it's finished its job. And that arrow gets filled up, needs 15 cycles of this junior recycler chap here filling that bar up. Now this is at 1 times speed, right? You're not going to play at 1 times speed because it is painfully slow. You are probably going to play at 8 times speed, which is not quite as painfully slow. So as you can see, the arrow approaches the recycler here. As soon as it gets up there, terrific, that's 1 cycle done. It needs to do 15 in order to chuck stuff out. All right, so that's going to be a while. Then we go over to our recycler. Now, obviously, our desalination plant. Now, we've had 2 guys level up here already. Way to go, lads. Basically, they gain experience every time they complete a cycle. And 1 cycle is them hitting the arrow all the way up here. Now, the arrow moves relative to the length of the string that it's attached to. So, obviously, if I extended the size of this window and I stuck him over there, it would really be kicking along. All right? So, don't think that a faster moving arrow is necessarily a more efficient worker. Not so. Now, why, you ask yourself, have I not got seaweed production up and running already? Well, because I haven't got the resources. I'm just starting to generate the resources to make that viable. But it's a little while before I'm going to actually have made anything. And what we're going to hopefully get to fairly soon is our first shipment. I think we're about 3/4, maybe 2/3 of the way towards. Now we're 3/4 of the way towards our first water load. Water load, hooray! Do we want to watch this? Do we want to sit here just watching these arrows move very slowly? No, we're going to build something else. Right. Okay. Next up. Now it took me a little while to actually get my head around the best thing to do with your time. Now you might think a recycling plant early on is a cracking idea. You're absolutely right, but it's got nothing to recycle to start with. You'll have to buy it in. Botanic garden, fantastic, but that's definitely a mid-game build, that one. We're not going to go for that straight away. What we are going to go for is... actually, we've got a recycling chap, haven't we? So let's get Mr. Recycling on board. Yes. Click. Thank you. Now, if I'm lucky, I'll be able to fit this by the resources. I'll be able to fit that on there. Brilliant. All right, okay, so we've got a recycling plant. Now, what I want this to do, because this is slightly more involved than the other 2. So we need a director, obviously. Always need a director. We need a recycling doodah, and we need a building maintenance. That's the fella. So let's get those in. We want recyc. Did I pass it already? I probably did. Nope. Building maintenance. There we go. We'll have that. Yep. And we want recycling. Okie doke. Yep. So let's hook those up. Now, as you can see, that recycler can take an awful lot of people working there. And we're going to try and get as many on there as possible. In fact, while we've got fella me lad just sitting around twiddling his thumbs, we'll put him to work. He's not going to cost us any more or less if we put him to work. Now, he's got nothing he can actually work on right now, but what we're going to be looking for is you can change up what it's working on. So I appreciate the text is a little on the small side here, but we can recycle various different bits and pieces, and in this case we're going to recycle organics. So the organics in question will generate for us 100 fertilizer, extremely useful, and 100 seaweed, again extremely useful. It means that we can be self-sufficient in terms of feeding our people. That's what we're going to work on. So I'm going to set that up so that it's ready to rock. But what we don't have is this organic garbage. Now, shall I go straight for acquiring organic garbage? What have we got here? Another operator. A versatile. Versatiles are fairly useful. They're never as good as you know, having someone who's actually dedicated to the task. That's okay. We're going to want at least one more recycler. What do we got? Yeah, H operators we're not going to need for a bit. So I'm going to change you for a director. No, no, no. I'm going to change you for a recycler. Yes. There we are. Yep, wake them up. Stick them in the mines. Right, so this is now effectively ready to go. All it needs is the raw resource in order to get to work, and I'm going to buy some of that. Let's close some of these windows down. I'll be back for more of you folks in a minute because we're going to build another building. Where are we? Organic, and we want organic garbage. Right, so let's just buy 100 of that straight away. Purchase, thank you. Right, and then we can set this in motion. Right, off you go, get to work. Okay, so recycling is now happening. These guys will level up nice and quick because obviously each cycle gains them a little bit of experience. And you can see in the messages down the bottom here, we've already got some people that have leveled up. Splendid. Right, so I'm also going to want a technician to keep the recycling plant operating because they do break quite quickly, and I don't need programmers right now, so I want a technician, please. Yep. Again, this is an expensive way to get people, but you know it's worth doing, at least in the early period, so that you can actually get your economy running, right, and then switch it on. There we go. Get that technician keeping the thing afloat. All right, good. So we're now going to be producing our own seaweed, which means that we can start drying that seaweed and making it so that we can feed it and you know keep our people fed. But more than that, what I want to do is, just to recap here, it was organic garbage is what we were generating there. Now, where do you get that from? Well, you get it from the seabed. Obviously, you know, this is a ecological disaster kind of aftermath, and what we need for that is we need on a ship factory. We want an alpha hangar. I think an alpha hangar will probably do the job. You got an alpha hangar, really? Yeah, it took me a little while to figure this out as well. Yeah, give me that. Right now, let's stick you on there. Right, so this alpha hangar is going to need a pilot, but it also needs a ship. Building maintenance, obviously. Alpha ship missions. And a director, right? Yes. Everything needs a flaming director. Right. Alpha ship missions. Ding, 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 ding. Did I go past it? It's decidedly past it. No, there we go. We need an alpha ship in a minute. No, I need the blueprint for alpha ship missions. If I actually read these, it'll be helpful. Nope. Recover organic waste. No, that's not it either. Or is it? I don't think it is. It's not. Oh, come on. This should be more straightforward than this. I got this done the other day. Alpha ship missions. Where did I get that from? Unless I've just gone past it a couple of times. You know, I couldn't rule that out. Well, let's buy building maintenance while we're here. Yeah, there we go. Now, the other thing that this game will allow you to do is it will allow you to buy blueprints, stick them in your factory without actually having the right stuff, if you see what I mean. So you stick it in your building and you don't have that building can't actually do that action, which is a pain. Where the hell is it? I'll find it because I've done it before. Industrial core. No. Look, if I click this button, will it just take me to the right place in the market? No, of course it won't. because this is an actual ship. Well, we need one anyway. So look, we'll have that, right? See, and it won't connect because that's not what it does. God, flaming! Where's the bloody blueprint? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe I do want recover organic waste. No, it's not that. It definitely isn't that. It's not recycling. I found this last time. Well, why is this proving to be such a pain in the backside? Resource extraction, I think. Yeah, that's it. That's what it is. Yeah. There we go. Right, yeah. So it says it wants alpha ship missions. It doesn't. It wants resource extraction. You big, giant pain in the jacksy. Right, so we now hook up our ship to the blueprint, because that's the ship we're going to assign to it. Now, to each of these, we can fit extra bits and pieces if we want to. I don't. Not at the moment. We don't need it particularly. Let's hook up the alpha hangar. Terrific. And then we need to go buy ourselves a director and a pilot, of which neither are available. However, also we've got some seniors available. They just mixed it up. I'm probably going to buy that versatile. Yeah. I'm a big believer in versatiles. Basically, versatiles don't get unhappy if you stick them in the wrong role. And that's pretty helpful. Let's get rid of this H operator. Actually, what master have we got available? Yeah, let's get rid of this guy. And we'll swap him for a pilot. Pilot, there we go. Yeah. Smashing. Yeah, it's always it's worth having the best staff you can afford, basically, because you only pay them to start with. Once they're up and frisking, they're basically good to go. Right, organic extraction, off you trot. Right, so basically that ship is going to fly out and gather up organic material. Actually, is there a technician available? Yeah, we'll buy him. Oh, and a director. Right, we'll have him. Yeah. Technician's available as well. We'll have him. Or her, as the case may be. Right, let's... I haven't got a technician assigned here. I want to keep it operational, so that person we just bought... That is technicians, isn't it? Yeah. Get them assigned on that one. And get to work. And restart. There you go. And everything is operational. Good. Right, so we're now bringing in crud from the bottom of the sea, which will include some... it's just basically buckets of goo from the bottom of the sea, and we'll be bringing those up, at which point the recycling centre here will turn said buckets of goo into good stuff, into things that we can actually use, which in this case is going to be fertiliser and seaweed. And so next time around, in the next episode, we will go through some seaweed farming and get that moving as well. There we go. Look, bucket of goo. Disappeared. This kicked into life. See? Cause and effect right there. Marvellous. Okay, that's it for this episode. We're going to get into, slightly more complex stuff. Actually, this is complex enough. Next time around. I apologise for the lack of sound effects and kind of background music on this episode, but apparently if you keep the music on, you will get your YouTube video extraneously pulled because the game company haven't licensed the music for everybody to use, or some such. I hope it doesn't interfere with your enjoyment of the thing. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I have been Colonel Failure. Please, leave us a comment. What do you think? Is this the kind of thing you want to see more of? We need a technician here, or that's going to stop working. Because it's quite enjoyable. I think we'll probably get another 2, maybe 3 episodes in. No. Before finish what you're saying, man, for the love of God. We'll probably get another couple of episodes in before we kind of run out of things to do. And that's okay. After which, we'll move on to bigger and brighter things. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe if you've not done so already, and I'll catch up with you very soon. Listen.